Imagine a world where thoughts are painted in vivid images, where problems are solved through patterns and designs, and where the mind is a canvas for abstract concepts. Temple Grandin, a leading advocate for autism and a prominent visual thinker, invites us to explore this extraordinary way of thinking in her book, Visual Thinking: The Hidden Gifts of People Who Think in Pictures, Patterns, and Abstractions. But why should you read this book? Whether you're a parent, educator, or someone intrigued by the diverse ways the human mind works, this book offers profound insights into the cognitive diversity that shapes our world. It's not just about understanding how some people think differently. It's about recognizing the untapped potential that these different cognitive styles bring to our society. Grandin's insights will change the way you perceive not only visual thinkers, but also the entire spectrum of human thought. Chapter 1. What is visual thinking? In the first chapter, Temple Grandin introduces us to the concept of thinking in pictures, patterns, and abstractions. She explains that visual thinkers process information differently from verbal thinkers. Rather than relying on words and language, visual thinkers create mental images that represent the information they're processing. For Grandin, this means that her thoughts often take the form of detailed, almost photographic images that she can manipulate and explore in her mind. Grandin illustrates this with an example from her own life. When she designed livestock handling systems, she didn't start with verbal descriptions or written plans. Instead, she visualized the entire system in her mind, as if she were watching a movie. She could see how each component would fit together, how the animals would move through the system, and how different designs would affect their behavior. This ability to think visually allowed her to innovate in ways that might not have been possible for a verbal thinker. However, Grandin also acknowledges the challenges that come with visual thinking. For instance, visual thinkers might struggle with tasks that require sequential thinking or verbal reasoning. They might find it difficult to explain their thought processes to others, especially in environments that prioritize verbal communication. Chapter 2. Screened Out. In the second chapter, Grandin delves deeper into the different types of visual thinkers, categorizing them into three main groups: object visualizers, spatial visualizers, and pattern thinkers. Each type of visual thinking has its own distinct characteristics, strengths, and challenges. Object visualizers think in detailed, photorealistic images. They are the artists, designers, and craftspeople who can see an object in their mind's eye as if it were right in front of them. Grandin describes how these thinkers excel in tasks that require attention to detail and the ability to create realistic representations of the world. They might struggle with abstract concepts or tasks that require thinking in words, but their ability to see and manipulate detailed images makes them invaluable in fields like art, design, and architecture. Spatial visualizers, on the other hand, excel in three-dimensional thinking and abstract concepts. These are the engineers, architects, and scientists who can mentally rotate objects, visualize complex systems, and understand how different components fit together in space. Grandin explains that spatial visualizers are often drawn to fields like engineering and physics, where their ability to think in three dimensions gives them an edge in solving complex problems. Pattern thinkers see the world in systems and structures. They are the mathematicians, programmers, and systems analysts who can detect patterns and relationships that others might miss. For pattern thinkers, the world is made up of interconnected systems, and they excel at identifying the underlying structures that govern how things work. Grandin emphasizes that pattern thinkers play a crucial role in fields that require systems thinking and problem solving. This chapter helps readers appreciate the diversity within visual thinking and encourages them to consider how different types of thinkers contribute to various fields. By recognizing and nurturing these different cognitive styles, we can create environments where all types of thinkers can thrive. Grandin advocates for a more inclusive approach, one that values the unique contributions of each type of visual thinker and recognizes the importance of cognitive diversity in innovation and problem solving. Chapter 3. Where are all the clever engineers? Chapter 3 explores the intersection of visual thinking and autism. Grandin, who is both a visual thinker and autistic, provides a unique perspective on how these two aspects of her identity intersect. She explains that many individuals on the autism spectrum are strong visual thinkers, and this cognitive style often shapes the way they perceive and interact with the world. Grandin shares her own experiences as an autistic visual thinker, describing how her ability to think in pictures has been both a strength and a challenge. On the one hand, her visual thinking allowed her to excel in designing livestock handling systems and to contribute to the field of animal behavior. On the other hand, she struggled in environments that prioritized verbal reasoning and linear thinking, such as traditional educational settings. Grandin also discusses the broader implications of visual thinking in autism. She notes that autistic individuals who are strong visual thinkers often face challenges in environments that are not designed to accommodate their cognitive style. For instance, they might struggle with tasks that require verbal communication or sequential thinking, and they might find it difficult to express their ideas in words. However, Grandin argues that these challenges can be mitigated by creating environments that support and nurture visual thinking. Grandin emphasizes the importance of recognizing and supporting the strengths of autistic visual thinkers. She argues that by providing the right educational and professional environments, we can help autistic individuals harness their visual thinking skills and make significant contributions to society. This chapter is a call to action for educators, employers, and policymakers to create more inclusive environments that recognize and value cognitive diversity. Grandin's insights into the connection between autism and visual thinking challenge us to rethink how we approach education, employment, and social inclusion. By understanding the strengths and challenges of autistic visual thinkers, we can create a more inclusive society that values the contributions of all individuals, regardless of their cognitive style. Visual: a classroom or workplace setting where accommodations are made for visual thinkers, such as providing visual aids, diagrams, and opportunities for hands-on learning. Chapter 4. Complementary minds. In the fourth chapter, Grandin turns her attention to the role of visual thinking in education. She argues that traditional educational systems are often designed with verbal and mathematical thinkers in mind, leaving visual thinkers at a disadvantage. This chapter emphasizes the need for a more inclusive approach to education, one that recognizes and nurtures the abilities of visual thinkers. Grandin points out that visual thinkers often struggle in traditional classrooms, where the focus is on reading, writing, and arithmetic. These students might have difficulty following verbal instructions or understanding abstract concepts that are not presented visually. As a result, they might be labeled as slow. These students might be labeled as slow learners or underachievers, when in reality, they simply have a different way of processing information. Grandin argues that by recognizing the strengths of visual thinkers, educators can help these students reach their full potential. One of the key strategies Grandin suggests is incorporating more visual aids and hands-on activities into the classroom. For example, instead of teaching a math concept solely through numbers and equations, a teacher could use visual models, diagrams, and physical objects to demonstrate the concept. This approach not only helps visual thinkers understand the material, but also makes learning more engaging for all students. Grandin also emphasizes the importance of allowing students to express their understanding in different ways. For visual thinkers, this might mean creating diagrams, drawings, or models instead of writing essays or taking multiple-choice tests. By offering diverse methods of assessment, educators can get a better sense of each student's abilities and strengths. Additionally, Grandin advocates for a curriculum that includes opportunities for creative expression, such as art, design, and hands-on projects. These subjects allow visual thinkers to shine and develop their skills in a way that traditional academic subjects might not. Grandin's vision for education is one where all types of thinkers are recognized and valued, and where every student has the opportunity to succeed. Chapter 5. Genius and Neurodiversity. In this chapter, Grandin explores how visual thinkers can thrive in the workplace. She discusses the advantages they bring to various industries, particularly in roles that require innovation and creativity. Visual thinkers often excel in jobs that require problem-solving, strategic planning, and the ability to see the big picture. Grandin provides examples of how visual thinkers have contributed to fields like engineering, architecture, and design. She describes how their ability to think in pictures allows them to see solutions that others might miss. For instance, in engineering, A visual thinker might be able to visualize how different components of a system will interact, leading to more efficient and effective designs. In architecture, visual thinkers can imagine how a building will look and function before it's even constructed, allowing them to create innovative and aesthetically pleasing structures. However, Grandin also points out the challenges visual thinkers face in the workplace. One of the biggest challenges is communication. Visual thinkers might struggle to explain their ideas to colleagues who think verbally, leading to misunderstandings or underappreciation of their contributions. To overcome this, Grandin suggests that visual thinkers learn to translate their ideas into more concrete forms, such as diagrams, models, or presentations. By doing so, they can bridge the communication gap and ensure that their ideas are understood and valued. Another challenge is that visual thinkers might struggle in environments that require a lot of verbal reasoning or sequential thinking. For example, they might find it difficult to follow long meetings or write detailed reports. Grandin advises visual thinkers to seek out roles that align with their strengths and to advocate for themselves in the workplace. This might involve asking for accommodations, such as more visual aids or opportunities for hands-on work, or seeking out roles that allow them to use their visual thinking skills to their fullest. Grandin's insights into visual thinking in the workplace are a reminder that cognitive diversity is a strength. By recognizing and supporting visual thinkers, employers can tap into a wellspring of creativity and innovation. This chapter is a call to action for workplaces to become more inclusive and to create environments where all types of thinkers can thrive. Chapter 6. Visualizing risk to prevent disasters. Chapter 6 focuses on the role of visual thinking in problem solving. Grandin explains that visual thinkers approach problems in unique ways, often finding solutions that others might overlook. She describes how visual thinking allows individuals to see the big picture, identify patterns, and visualize outcomes, all of which are crucial for effective problem solving. Grandin shares several examples of visual thinkers who have made significant contributions to their fields by approaching problems visually. She describes how Thomas Edison, a well-known visual thinker, used his ability to visualize complex systems to invent the light bulb and other groundbreaking technologies. Similarly, Steve Jobs, who was also a strong visual thinker, revolutionized the technology industry by designing products that were not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing and intuitive to use. Grandin also discusses the importance of visual thinking in scientific research. She describes how visual thinkers like Albert Einstein used mental imagery to explore complex concepts and develop new theories. Einstein famously said that he thought in images rather than words, and this ability to visualize abstract concepts allowed him to make connections that others might have missed. Grandin argues that visual thinking is not just an asset in fields like engineering and design, but in any area that requires creative problem solving. She encourages visual thinkers to embrace their cognitive style and to use their ability to think in pictures to their advantage. By doing so, they can find innovative solutions to problems and make significant contributions to their fields. Grandin's exploration of visual thinking and problem-solving challenges us to reconsider how we approach problems. By thinking visually, we can see connections and possibilities that aren't immediately apparent, leading to more effective and innovative solutions. Chapter 7. Animal Consciousness and Visual Thinking. In the final chapter, Grandin looks toward the future of visual thinking. She discusses the growing recognition of the value of diverse cognitive styles in an increasingly complex world. As technology advances and the challenges we face become more intricate, the ability to think visually will be more important than ever. Grandin predicts that visual thinkers will play a crucial role in shaping the future, particularly in fields like technology, engineering, and design. She describes how visual thinkers are already leading the way in developing new technologies, such as virtual reality and artificial intelligence, that require the ability to visualize complex systems and think creatively. However, Grandin also warns that visual thinkers must be supported and nurtured if they are to reach their full potential. She argues that our educational systems and workplaces must become more inclusive and adaptable, recognizing the strengths of visual thinkers and providing them with the tools they need to succeed. Grandin ends the book with a call to action: to to embrace cognitive diversity and to create a world where all types of thinkers are valued and supported.